Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Redshirt Ensign Nash, his continuing mission to record his personal log, to recount his tedious duties as per Starfleet regulations, to boldly go where we've all been before.
Computer begin recording. Ensign Nash's personal log, stardate 1520.4. I hate Tranya. I swear on my mother's corpse, if anyone offers me Tranya again, I will shove it so far down their throat they'll think they had an alien spawn gestating in their esophagus. It tastes like someone blended baby food with a Klingon food pack and then let it sit out in the sun for a week. Makes me want to vomit just thinking about it. I don't know how everyone's drinking so much of it. Ugh, disgusting. Whatever, they can choke on it for all I care. You've probably noticed I shaved. People kept pointing and laughing at me and saying, "You've got mud on your face," after our run-in with Harry Mudd. Command Division can be real jerks sometimes. So like I said, they can choke. We've been celebrating our latest brush with death, or narrow avoidance of death, I guess. This time, we're out star mapping uncharted space, right? And for 3 days, there's just nothing. Nothing. Then, out of nowhere, some weird kaleidoscopic cube shows up on a collision course. And it's rotating, and it's coming right at us, and Mr. Spock has to bring us to a full stop or we'll hit it. Oh, I should mention, the whole crew is scheduled to report for our quarterly physicals with Dr. McCoy, so the captain's in sickbay. That's why I said Mr. Spock has to bring us to a full stop. And the cube stops too, right in front of us. Still rotating, though. So we try to go around it now that it's stopped, but the thing just repositions itself in front of us again. You know, I heard from a crewman who heard from a lieutenant who supposedly heard from one of the officers on the bridge at the time that Lieutenant Bailey yelled something obvious, like, "It's in our way!" And Mr. Spock totally just shut him up by saying something super Vulcan-y, like, "There is no need for an emotional outburst." Or, "It is not necessary to raise your voice to communicate something that we are all aware of, Lieutenant Obvious. Have you considered having your adrenal gland removed?" Anyway, so that's when we went to Red Alert and we heard the call for the captain of the bridge. But like I said, he's in with McCoy doing his physical. The captain doesn't come out right away. And I'm scheduled next, so I'm waiting in the corridor outside. And I'm wondering what's taking so long. Thinking I should probably report to my station, you know, because of the Red Alert. When the captain comes out of sickbay, shirtless, uniform around his shoulders, with the doctor yelling after him, "What am I, a doctor or a..." And then the doors shut again, so I didn't hear the rest. But figured it'd be best to come back later. So I went to my station in engineering, and everyone else is already standing by. Lieutenant Commander Scott was on the bridge, giving his report to the captain, so I was able to take my station without any problems. And then we just sit there, doing nothing, for 18 hours. Word got around that Lieutenant Bailey said he wanted to phaser the cube, and the captain shot him down, but I gotta say that probably would have been my call too. If not directly, then a warning shot at least. But our orders came through that we were going to try to pull away again, like Mr. Spock hadn't already tried that first thing. And of course, the cube matches our speed, and it's spinning faster and faster, and starts emitting some kind of radiation. We get all the way up to warp 1 before the radiation's too much, and we finally get the order to fire phasers. Blew it up in one shot. Problem solved, I guess. Well, apparently not, because the captain decides we're too slow. So now we've got to do all these simulations, like we're cadets or something. This isn't our first Kobayashi Maru. And if we were slow, it's because we didn't get the order fast enough. So if anything, it was the bridge crew who were slow. Bailey. Anyway, we hear Bailey over the comm saying to prepare for simulated attacks. And we do. And we do the simulations. And we get a 94% rating from Mr. Spock. 94%. That'd be impressive even if it wasn't coming from a Vulcan. But this is Mr. Perfection we're talking about here. But no, the captain wants more. He wants us to do it again, but get 100% this time. And of course, Mr. Spock agrees, so we saddle up and get ready for round 2. But just as we're about to start, we hear Mr. Sulu call battle stations over the comm. This is not a drill. So this new thing that shows up, right, looks like some kind of macrovirus sphere thing. And it locks a tractor beam on us immediately. So we go to full stop again, and phaser crews are standing ready to blow this one up too. It's looking like we're getting our second chance for 100% from Mr. Spock. But Kirk's got to try talking to them again first. That's when we hear a message come through the comm from someone named Baylock. It says he's on the Phasarius, the flagship of the First Federation. It's a little spooky, but I'm like, listen, buddy, unless it was founded before 2161, it ain't the First Federation. And I'm pretty sure we've got that Guinness Universe record. And this Baylock goes on to say that we ignored and destroyed a warning buoy, which I guess was the cube? That, like, how are we supposed to know that? Putting a flashing cube on spin cycle does not mean beware all ye who enter here. Kirk tries responding, but he gets cut off, and I guess Baylock probes us or something, because all we hear is this crazy static, and a few of us get little electric shocks from our consoles. Then Baylock basically says he's going to plug his ears and go la 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 if we try to talk to him, and blow us up if we try to do anything else. So, naturally, Kirk launches a recorder marker to warn other ships, that might come by here. I know this because Baylock blows it up, and then announces to the whole crew that it's been destroyed, and that we've been examined, and that he's going to destroy us. So he tells us we have 10 minutes to pray and prepare ourselves, whatever. Kirk gets on the comm to, I guess, try reassuring us that we'll get out alive, but through all his flowery speechifying about aliens understanding our motives and whatnot, all he manages to communicate to us is stand by. Well, I didn't join Starfleet and survive years with Captain Pike just to get blown to pieces by some disembodied voice on a giant flu ship. So I head to my quarters and pack a bag. As soon as I get on the turbolift, I hear another message from Baylock. I think he says we have 8 minutes left, which should be enough time for me to get to my quarters, get some essentials, and get to an escape pod. Baylock's conveniently giving us his countdown, so I know how much time we have left. As I leave my quarters and head for the escape pods, I see Dr. McCoy walking Lieutenant Bailey into his quarters. I briefly wonder what happened there, but I remember I only have just under 6 minutes left to get off the ship, so I forget about it and keep going. On my way to the turbolift, I think it would be smart to get some rations from the galley so I don't starve in the pod. Who knows how long I'll be drifting. And I've got a couple minutes to spare, so. When I get to the galley, the power's out, and Yeoman Rand is using a hand phaser to heat up a thermos of coffee. She says something to me while I shovel ration packs into my bag, but I'm in too much of a hurry to listen. I run back to the turbolift. As I step out, Baylock gives a 2-minute warning. I sprint down the corridor as fast as I can, and as I turn a corner, I crash into another crewman. I think I hit my head because when I got up, he was gone, and the ship was shaking so much at the time, I didn't think I'd been out very long. I thought Baylock had fired at us. That's all the shaking. As it turned out, I'd been unconscious for several minutes, but I didn't know it yet. So I approached the escape pod, thinking I had mere seconds left to live, and as I was about to step inside, the ship jolted severely, and I was thrown against a bulkhead. Boom, unconscious again. This time, when I woke up, I was in sickbay. Nurse Chapel filled me in on what happened. That's when I found out I'd been knocked out the first time long enough to pass Baylock's deadline. Apparently, Kirk bluffed Baylock into thinking he'd be retroactively destroyed if he fired at us. I don't know. Baylock's ship tractored us instead, and we were able to break free, and that's when I got knocked out the second time. Baylock's ship was damaged when we broke free, so the captain went over to save him. Bailey stayed behind for some reason, yada yada yada, who cares? I'm just happy I'm alive. And not facing court-martial for trying to abandon ship during a crisis. I didn't tell Nurse Chapel what I was doing by the escape pods, and thankfully she didn't ask. And I doubt anyone will ever watch these logs unless I die in the line of duty, and probably not even then, so computer end recording.